Hey, peace be upon you. You know that feeling when you're praying and it kind of feels like you're just running through a shopping list of things you want? Well, today we're going to dive into a piece of wisdom from Al-Hikam that's a total game changer. It offers a completely new way to look at our connection with the divine and flips the whole idea of asking on its head. Okay, let this one sink in for a second. The best thing you can ask of him is what he asks of you. I mean, wow. It's just one sentence, right? But it completely flips the script. It's telling us that maybe, just maybe, the most powerful prayer isn't about getting all the stuff we want. It's about asking to become the person he wants us to be. And this chart here, it lays out that shift perfectly. On the one hand, you've got our usual requests, right? The stuff we all ask for. Provision, success, relief, comfort. Totally understandable. But then look at the other side. This is the higher request. We're talking about asking for truthfulness, for sincerity, for steadfastness. It's a huge leap, isn't it? It's about shifting our focus from asking for external things to asking for a complete internal transformation. Okay, so if sincerity is the goal, how do we even know if we're on the right track? It's a great question. And the text right away gives us a pretty sharp warning about a super subtle trap that so many of us fall into. It all starts with how we deal with our own mistakes. And here it is, self-delusion. The definition, grieving over the loss of obedience while not rising to it. Man, that's deep. We've all been there, right? You miss a prayer, you feel distant, and you get that pang of guilt. But here's the caution. If that sadness doesn't actually lead to you doing something, it can just become a comfortable little delusion. It's kind of like feeling bad about being out of shape while you're still sitting on the couch eating chips. The guilt makes you feel a little better, but nothing actually changes. So this really pushes us to ask a tougher question. It's so easy to get caught up in the feeling, to think that just feeling bad is enough. But the real test, the real question, isn't just, do I feel bad? Nope. The real question is, what did I do next? That's the one that matters. Did that regret actually turn into an action? Did you get up and try to fix it, even in a small way? That's the moment where your sincerity is actually put to the test. And that's the whole point, really. Sincerity combined with action is what changes your path. Feeling bad can be the start, It can be the water that softens the ground for change. But it's the actual step you take that gets you on a new road. The feeling is important, for sure, but the action is what makes it real. All right, so we've talked about grief, but guess what? The same exact principle applies to its opposite, hope. Just like grief, hope can be a delusion if it's not backed by action. Real hope isn't just a passive, feel-good thing. It's an active, driving force, and its sincerity gets tested too. And just look at this comparison, it's so clear. True hope is like an engine. It pushes you forward. It makes you want to work. It gets you back on your feet after you stumble. But false hope? That's more like a beautiful cage. Sure, it's cozy in there, and you can talk a good game about getting out, but you never actually try to open the door. It's just wishful thinking pretending to be faith. So we need action, we get it. But what about the journey itself? What about the ups and downs we feel along the way? Because let's be real, it is never a smooth, flat road. It's packed with these moments of total ease and then moments of intense struggle. And figuring out the why behind them is absolutely crucial. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. We all know these rhythms of the heart. There are days when your heart feels light, worship is just easy. That's expansion. Then there are those other days when it feels like you're trying to walk through thick mud just to get anything done spiritually. That's constriction. The key insight here is that these aren't just random moods. They're actually part of a divine curriculum designed for us. And why? What's the purpose? Well, the whole point of these shifts is to free us from getting too attached to any one feeling. Think about it. If everything was always easy, we'd probably get arrogant, right? But if everything was always hard, we'd fall into despair. So the real goal is to learn how to stay connected to the Lord of every state, not to the state itself, to God, not just the good feelings. Okay, so once we start to understand our inner world this way, it opens the door to an even bigger idea, a really profound insight. And that is the need to look past the surface of, pretty much everything that happens to us. This one might stop you in your tracks for a second. You may be given something that is actually a form of deprivation. That's a wild thought, isn't it? Like, imagine you get that big promotion you were fighting for. Awesome, right? More money, more status. But what if it also brought way more stress, way less time with your family, and maybe even made your heart a little harder?
What looks like a huge gift on the outside might have actually been a really, really tough test on the inside.
And, of course, the flip side is just as true. You may be deprived of something that is actually a form of giving. Think about it. That job you didn't get, that relationship that ended, that plan that totally fell apart. How many times do we look back years later and just go, wow, thank God that didn't work out? What felt like a crushing loss at the time was actually a hidden mercy, steering us away from a path we were never meant to walk. This completely reframes how we can look at our lives. A loss isn't just a loss, it could be a mercy. A gain isn't just a gain, it could be a hidden test. That annoying delay, maybe it's not a frustration, maybe it's preparation. It's like we're being invited to stop reading the headlines of our lives and start reading the actual story underneath. It all comes back to this incredible line. The created world looks deceptive on the outside, but inwardly it is a lesson. That's our challenge, isn't it? To develop that inner vision, that insight, to be able to read the lesson, to see past the shiny surface or the painful exterior and find the real truth hidden inside. So how do we actually do this? What's the path forward? Well, it breaks down into a few key steps. Step 1, change what you ask for. Ask for what he loves, not just what you want. Step 2, turn your feelings into fuel. Let your grief lead you to action, and let your hope lead you to effort. And step 4, the big one, change how you see. Train yourself to look beyond the surface of things to find the real lesson. And that leaves us with a pretty big question to take away, something to really think about. When you look at your own life, the good stuff, the tough stuff, all the times you're just stuck waiting, are you just seeing the surface, or are you starting to see the lesson?
So let's close with the beautiful prayer from the text itself. O God, open for us the eye of insight, so we may see the lesson behind the surface of things. Amen. Thank you so much for joining me today. Peace be upon you.